I need to borrow your car right quick.
What kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, or even ketchup. You want to borrow my car? Hell no!
Ice Cube spent years building a reputation as one of hip-hop's most serious voices. But in the early 90s, the hardcore rapper shocked everyone who knew him. He wanted to make people laugh through film. But behind the scenes, a lot was happening. There were rumors of creative battles, personal feuds, and tragic losses that most fans never knew existed. So how did a simple idea to show the lighter side of the hood turn into decades of fighting? And what price did the people involved pay for creating something that would define a generation? Join us as we dive deep to uncover the untold story of Friday. Friday's comedy revolution begins. In the early 1990s, movies about black communities in Los Angeles mostly showed violence and struggle. Films like Boys in the Hood and Colors focused on danger and conflict. Ice Cube, known for his music with NWA and his role in Boys and the Hood, felt these stories didn't show the full picture. With DJ Pooh, he realized that their real-life experiences in South Central LA included more than just hardship. There was also laughter, close friendships, and regular day-to-day life that those films left out. Choosing to make a comedy film put Ice Cube in a tough spot with his fans and people in his community. He was known for hard-hitting political music and a serious image from albums like America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate. Even when he dropped the more laid-back track It Was a Good Day, some of his own crew questioned why he'd go in that direction. When news came out that he was working on a comedy, the doubts grew louder. Critics started asking why someone respected for serious roles and strong messages would take a chance on something light and funny. Many saw it as a risky move that could hurt his reputation. Ice Cube saw himself as someone who told real stories through music, not just what people expected from him.
Area, we ain't got no milk.
Use water. It won't hurt.
Life in South Central wasn't only about struggle, it also had fun, laughter, and strong community ties. That side of the story mattered too. Making a comedy wasn't just about trying something new, it was a chance to show that he had more to offer, both as an artist and as a person. He wanted to push back against the narrow image that Hollywood and fans had built around him. The film was his way of saying he wasn't just the tough guy people thought they knew. He had talents they hadn't seen yet. O'Shea Jackson was born in Los Angeles in 1969 to working-class parents. His dad worked as a groundskeeper at UCLA, and his mom was a hospital clerk who helped support the family. The name Ice Cube came from a joke his older brother made, saying he'd put O'Shea in the freezer until he turned into an ice cube. That nickname stuck and later became iconic in hip-hop. His interest in rap started in 9th grade during a typing class, when a friend challenged him to write rhymes. That moment eventually led to him meeting Dr. He began performing at local parties and got his first big break by selling a song to Eazy-E.
To put out hits! Now I wanna turn up. Oh shit, man.
Setting the stage for a major career in music. Would the same authenticity that made him successful in rap be enough to create a compelling film that could capture the real spirit of his neighborhood? New Line changes everything. Ice Cube went from writing lyrics for NWA to becoming a solo artist after a serious money dispute. That shift gave him real street experience and strong storytelling skills, which later helped him when he started working on movies. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles and rising to fame in music gave him plenty of real-life stories to use. But turning those into a film was a whole new challenge. Making a movie meant learning things he hadn't done before, like working with actors and handling the details of a film set. It was a big change from writing rap songs in the studio.
Everything is alright. I got a beat from Kim, and she could do it all night.
To running a full production. At the start, Ice Cube and DJ Pooh took a hands-on, low-budget approach to get their film off the ground. They were inspired by Robert Townsend, who famously paid for Hollywood Shuffle by using several credit cards when he couldn't get traditional funding. They also looked at Kevin Smith's success with Clerks, which made them realize that strong stories didn't need big studio money. They pitched their idea as a small comedy, shot in one location with a limited cast to keep costs low. The script was built from real experiences and people Ice Cube and DJ Pooh knew growing up in South Central Los Angeles. Almost every part of the story came from something that actually happened or someone they personally knew. The scene where Craig gets fired for supposedly stealing boxes was based on a true story involving Ice Cube's cousin, who worked as a delivery driver and was unfairly blamed by his boss. DJ Pooh's past with selling weed helped shape the Smokey character. Other characters, like the tough guy Debo and Craig's caring dad, were also based on real people from their neighborhood. The film was a way to bring those everyday stories to the screen. When New Line Cinema saw the script and thought it could be a hit, especially after their success with comedies like House Party, it looked like the perfect answer to the team's money problems. With studio backing, they could focus on making the movie instead of worrying about how to pay for it. But the deal came with a big catch. The studio didn't want DJ Pooh to play Smokey.
Stop hitting it so hard.
Even though he helped create the character and was always meant to play him, they thought he didn't have enough acting experience and wanted someone more well-known for the role. This unexpected demand caused a major setback. The team had to quickly find someone else for the part, and DJ Pooh took on a smaller role as Red. That casting change ended up being a key moment that could either help or hurt the whole project. But would his instinct to choose an unknown comedian over established stars prove to be a brilliant decision or a costly mistake? Tucker's second chance miracle. Ice Cube and his team looked at several well-known comedians for the role of Smokey, including Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson. Both had the fame and experience that the studio, New Line Cinema, wanted for such an important part. But Ice Cube felt drawn to someone less known, a young comedian he saw on Def Comedy Jam named Chris Tucker. Tucker had moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles in 1990, chasing his dream of making it in comedy. His loud, energetic style and real-life street vibe matched what Ice Cube thought Smokey needed. Tucker's raw talent and growing reputation in the comedy scene made him the right fit to bring the character to life. Chris Tucker's first audition was a mess. What looked like the perfect casting started to fall apart when he gave a weak performance that had everyone in the room second-guessing Ice Cube's decision. The casting director later explained that Tucker had just come off a long stretch of stand-up shows and was completely worn out. He hadn't taken time to study the script, and it showed. The audition was so rough that it seemed like Ice Cube had made a huge mistake. It looked like they'd have to start the search for Smokey all over again.
Oh, God damn, man, look.
Losing valuable time and momentum in the process. Luckily, director F. Gary Gray saw something in Chris Tucker that others missed. Even though Tucker's first audition didn't go well, Gray believed he had real talent and pushed hard to give him another shot. He used his reputation and influence to convince the studio that Tucker deserved a second chance. At the same time, Angela Means, who played Felicia, stepped in to help. She invited Tucker to her home for dinner and spent time helping him prepare for the role. That extra support turned out to be a key part of what helped Tucker succeed in the film. Would Tucker's natural comedic instincts and ability to improvise transform a good script into something truly special? Tucker's improvised comedy gold. When Chris Tucker joined the cast, his chemistry with Ice Cube brought a spark to every scene they were in. A lot of the film's most memorable lines weren't written in advance. They came from Tucker's quick thinking and natural sense of humor. The crew gave him room to play around with his delivery, and that freedom led to moments that fans still quote today. One of the most famous scenes involving Felicia wasn't planned either. Angela Means made a split-second choice to physically step between Ice Cube and Tucker on the porch, instead of just walking up to them like the script said. That move fit her character perfectly and helped create one of the film's standout moments. Chris Tucker's reaction when Angela Means sat down between him and Ice Cube was real. He didn't know she was going to do that. His surprise and frustration weren't planned, but they ended up making the scene funnier and more natural. Even though the set allowed for moments like that, the crew kept things tight and professional. The budget was under $3 million, and they only had 20 days to shoot the whole movie, so there wasn't room for mistakes or delays.
Here come the pastor.
Probably smoke bud, too.
How you doing, Brother Craig? How you doing?
Ice Cube took his role as producer seriously. Even though the characters were often shown smoking weed, he stayed sober during filming. He knew he needed to stay focused to handle everything that came with making his first big movie. The film helped launch the careers of several actors who were just starting out. Megan Good, only 13 at the time, played one of the kids in the neighborhood. Michael Clark Duncan also appeared briefly in the background as a craps player, long before his breakout role in The Green Mile made him widely known. The strong chemistry between the cast and the real feel of the performances gave the movie a special energy. Viewers and critics praised how well the actors worked together and how honestly the film showed life in the neighborhood. It looked like the beginning of a promising series, but behind the scenes, problems were starting to build. Even though things seemed smooth on the surface, growing tension between key people involved would later cause serious splits and change the future of what could have been a successful franchise. Would the personal and creative tensions growing beneath the surface ultimately prove stronger than the bonds that had made the original film so special? Tucker's $1 million departure. When Next Friday hit theaters in 2000, fans were surprised to see that Chris Tucker's popular character, Smokey, wasn't in the movie. His absence led to a lot of questions and theories about why he didn't return to the role that helped make him famous. Ice Cube later explained that two main reasons influenced Tucker's decision. First, Tucker turned down a big paycheck, reportedly between $10 and $12 million, for the sequel. Second, Ice Cube said Tucker had become deeply religious and didn't feel comfortable playing Smokey anymore. Chris Tucker later explained why he chose not to return to the Friday series.
Man, that's little Chris. Go get his ass.
He said the drug-related parts of the Smokey character made him uncomfortable, especially since he didn't want to send the wrong message or make marijuana seem cool to young viewers. He also shared that he didn't like doing sequels. Tucker preferred working on fresh, original projects that gave him new challenges instead of repeating the same kind of role over and over. John Witherspoon, who played Craig's dad in the Friday movies, shared his own take on why Chris Tucker didn't return for the sequel. He believed Tucker's church advisors had concerns about the drug use and other behavior shown in the films.
Well, around here, between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little twin.
Which played a part in his decision to step away. At the same time, Witherspoon pointed out the business side of things. Tucker was in talks to join the Rush Hour franchise, where he'd earn $20 million per movie and become a global star, something the Friday sequels couldn't match. Witherspoon joked that if he were offered that kind of money, he'd probably make the same choice. Witherspoon's insight revealed the practical realities behind Tucker's departure, showing how business opportunities and religious concerns combined to pull him away from the franchise. But was there an even deeper conflict brewing that would prove more damaging than any financial negotiation or spiritual conviction? Hidden creative ownership battle. Most people believed Chris Tucker left the Friday series because of money or religious reasons, but behind the scenes, a more personal issue was building that ended up being even more important. Faison Love, who played Big Worm and stayed in touch with both Tucker and Ice Cube after filming, hinted that tension was growing between the two stars. The problem seemed to be about who should get the main credit for the movie's success and impact. One of the clearest signs of this conflict shows up at the beginning of Next Friday. There's a line that seems to call out people trying to take credit for writing the first movie. The tension between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker came from a simple truth. Ice Cube created, wrote, and produced the original story, but Tucker's off-the-cuff comedy turned several scenes into unforgettable moments. His quick thinking and natural humor added something special that wasn't in the script, and those moments became fan favorites. As Tucker started getting more credit for the film's success, Ice Cube felt like his own role as the main creator was being overlooked. Both had strong reasons to feel proud of what they brought to the project, but their different views on who deserved recognition slowly chipped away at the respect and friendship they once shared. The conflict between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker wasn't just about money or career moves. It ran deeper. It was about who deserved credit and respect for what the film became. Ice Cube saw himself as the one who built the project from the ground up. He came up with the idea, wrote the script, and handled production. On the other side, people close to Tucker believed his off-the-cuff comedy and natural timing were what turned the movie into something special that connected with audiences across the country. Do you think Ice Cube made the right choice by refusing to compromise his creative vision? Or should he have accepted studio control to give fans the sequels they wanted sooner? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.